Hey there, all you amazing patrons. If you're hearing this sometime in December, that is. And another hey goes to the folks hearing this sometime in 2018. I'm not even going to guess what month that's going to be, because really, what's the point? I mean, there's really no point.
We don't even know that there's going to be a month in 2018.
Yeah, who knows?
I was just thinking you are fucking optimistic if you think this world is necessarily going to last another 22 days.
I saw a meme that summed it up perfectly. It was like, middle school me learning about ancient Rome. How could such a affluent and well-developed society collapse so quickly and so devastatingly? Me in 2017.
Oh my god.
Oh
yeah.
Hold my beer.
Exactly. Oh my god. I am okay.
America's like, hold my beer.
If there's one thing I'm gonna pray for, it's that 2018 doesn't say hold my beer, because 2017 was the most fucking disastrous year. Did
you remember how bad we thought 2016 was?
Well, yeah. Now it's like,
it's not the death of anybody.
I'm so glad all those celebrities didn't live to see this.
Yeah, it's like, in 2016 it was, oh my god, which celebrity died? And now it's, oh my god, which one is an absolute disgusting pig?
Right, exactly. Last year, trending hashtag was, oh shit, oh god, who died?
Yeah, died.
This year, it's who's a fuckface
rapist? Who's a fucking rapist?
I told my wife over breakfast this morning, I said, my line in the sand to whether I give up on humanity or not is Tom Hanks. If we find out,
If we find out Tom Hanks, I actually said this the other night. I'm like, I'm going to be devastated if we find out Tom Hanks has been doing this.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an older one.
Okay,
that has more potential to have had things happen in the past, because this is someone that was big in the 70s.
Okay,
Henry Winkler, the Fonz.
The Fonz, yeah.
If anything comes out on him, I will be fucking shocked, because he is one of the nicest people I have ever met. He is incredible.
I loved him on Arrested Development.
Oh my god!
By the way, Dustin Hoffman, I'm reading that story about him groping that woman. I'm like, you know what? I see it. I really see it. I see it too. This is tracking for me.
Well, so anyway, let's get back to the script.
We're doing a show.
We're doing a show. Hey, it's X, and I'm here with Felicia and our special guest, Michael Shermer from the Reasonable Risk podcast.
Hold on. I'm not Michael
not
Shermer.
Oh, shit, Michael Schaefer. Sorry, I read the wrong note there.
Okay.
Whoops.
Viewers, if the people watching, if people could see my face, I would have been like,
wait a minute. That doesn't sound right. Sorry. Okay. Michael Schaefer.
Now, I wrote down the wrong. I would like to have the audience that Michael Shermer does without the asshole of Michael Shermer.
Yeah. Well, how much does Shermer have right now on
he
Patreon?
Might poop
I wonder.
Excellently.
I hope he does.
I hope he doesn't. I hope that he goes 3 days constipated a week and then 1 day of just terrible shit. That is what that man deserves.
Actually, in a cycle for life.
Yes, exactly. Constipated for 3 days, terrible shits for a day. Constipated for 3 days, terrible shits for a day.
I'm trying to see if he has. I know he has a Patreon out there. I'm just trying to find out which one it is. Shermer Patreon. Skeptic is create. Yeah, here he is. He calls himself just Skeptic, or it's the magazine Skeptic. Yeah, $1,700 a month. Not terrible. Not
well, but he also. I mean, he gets the revenue
magazine too,
from the fucking magazine,
which honestly can't be doing that great.
You know what? I bet it still brings in a decent amount more than it costs.
Oh, they only do 4 issues a year. It looks like they do there. So
okay.
Skeptic Not magazine. There we go.
Yeah, with him at the helm
got
of it.
Other donation sources though. That's not like not like he's living off of $2,000 a month.
No, he's got other donation sources coming in from people probably like the Mercers.
Jordan B. Peterson, maybe
George Soros.
No, Soros would be on our
no,
side.
It's not our side.
Yeah, I know.
Except he never fucking pays us.
I know. I've sent out invoices and everything.
I have been doing my job. God damn it!
Not getting paid.
We're all doing the fucking work, except we're not getting paid. Where's our shill money?
Yeah, I've been shilling hard, motherfucker.
Jesus.
So this is Michael
I will
Schaefer.
shill harder if you pay me.
Oh, X is trying to
trying to do the
reintroduce
show.
now.
Michael Schaefer, yes, and this is the Utah Outcasts Secret Patron Show. This is the special content that we provide to the folks that are so generous to share with us at least $1 a month. And I talk about how much of a pittance that is, but Patreon has seemed to do fit to, charge you guys a little bit more. Thankfully, we do per month, so it's not really affecting us that much. We've had a couple people drop off. It's not a big deal. I'm not too worried about it, but it's just, fuck you, Patreon, for doing that. It's like, come on.
Yeah, fuck you, but I can afford it, so I'm going to keep
Yeah, I mean,
supporting.
everything's been chugging along fine for a while. They're like, hey, let's rattle it as fucking hard as we can and see what we can break. It's like,
What they said is, if we exploit a certain group, do you think we can get more money? And somebody else some other white man in the boardroom said, I bet we can.
snapped his fingers and went, yes.
Or somebody figure out they better make some money now while they can, because this is not something that is
Well, there's
not
nothing
replicable.
proprietary. Yeah,
Like,
there's nothing proprietary
This
about
is
their
fucking
thing.
easy. I mean,
Yeah.
believe me, I've spent the last 2 days thinking, who do I know that I can, get something set up like this with? And the answer is really nobody that would actually be able to do
You can
it.
set up your own website and PayPal button.
Well, and I've
Oh,
got the
sure.
I've got the PayPal button set up on the website, but it's the setting up the secure RSS and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
And-
that's what the issue is getting patron content out.
And for me, having the community on Patreon helps, because you get people from other shows coming to check your stuff out. So if you just have a paywall
Yeah.
on your website,
Yep.
yeah, that's great. But having people being able to click on other people's shows, they like. If you go find somebody like,
But
this
there's-
person also listens to this show. Let me check this one out.
There's nothing inherently like they could do a Twitter of Patreon, and there we go.
There's a lot of ways to do that. I mean, I think within our little podcasting segment of the universe, I think we all do a good job, I think, of trying to
And
promote
what is
each
your
other.
podcasting segment again? I don't think we ever got there.
Oh, I
I
don't.
said it, but no.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I think it
I
was.
gave him the wrong name though.
Yes. So just to be completely clear, I'm Michael Schaefer of Reasonable Risk Podcast.
And for me, I've been watching a lot of alt-right fucking videos this week. I've
Ooh.
I know, braver man than I.
Well, I don't do it for this show so much. I do it because I need to know what the other half is thinking. I need to know what their current MO is when it comes to like trying to argue with people. And
I agree with that. I think it is good, to the extent that we can, to get into the heads of the people that have the opposite ideas to us. But I'll tell you, it's getting harder.
yeah, and
Sorry, I end up just like
tuning out.
feeling. I end up feeling like hopeless, and
Well, see, that's
It's getting harder I say they because I think that we are rational people, and
Yeah.
I do think we're the ones that are right on the multitude of issues. But the whole doubling down thing
Mhm.
with, it's like you're proven wrong. And
they
instead
don't
of
care though. That's
Right,
not
but
what it's about.
instead of saying, God, maybe I fucked up, they're like, no, it's
So,
even worse
have you-
than that.
Have you looked into the science of what it is to be wrong when you're challenged on core beliefs? There's this wonderful book called Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I swear it's my Bible now.
Mhm.
She's a mental health researcher.
My wife actually has a book of hers like on her nightstand, like right now.
Oh, Brene's great. She's a researcher. So she wasn't a therapist. She's a researcher on and she's been doing research on vulnerability and human relationships and stuff like that. And it's
Mhm.
really quite fascinating. It's very excellent. And she's also a wonderful writer. And she talks about the experience of pain in the brain. So what they found is that when someone's core beliefs or value is challenged, and people will often assign their personal value to what they believe, whether it's true or not. And when that's challenged, their brain experiences pain. And it's not a pain you can isolate in the body in any way, shape, or form, because it's just pain in the brain. And the brain doesn't have pain sensors, but it's the same part of the brain that responds to pain. So you're actually physically experiencing pain. And when you do that, when a person experiences that, it's very often that they will go into a fight or flight response.
So have
And-
they done like MRI brain studies on that?
Yeah, they have.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
what she'll talk about is identifying when you're experiencing that and saying aloud that she says the practice she started doing, and I've started doing it too, and it's actually really quite effective. Because when you say the thing aloud, it actually triggers other parts of your brain to function. And so you can actually turn off that switch. And so by identifying it, you actually have power over it. And saying it aloud actually utilizes multiple parts of the brain. But what these people are doing is when they are challenged, when somebody shows them that they are wrong, they're experiencing physical pain. Or not physical, but they are experiencing actual pain.
Well, right. It's translated. I mean, if our physical pain is
brain.
translated into electrical impulses, if it's the similar or same electrical impulses, it's pain.
It's pain. So they're experiencing actual pain. So their body is going to put them into a fight or flight, which can cause them to double down. Now, for those of us who are aware, what you can do is say it aloud: pain, pain, pain. Another one I'll do is if I'm starting to panic, I'll go panic, panic, panic. And that can actually shed light on what you're doing, and it can reformat where your brain is at the moment. But that's what's going on with these people. It doesn't matter how much you prove them wrong. They're experiencing actual pain. And so they are going to shut down.
Well, and that just means
scary, but it's true.
Well, and that I think that says to us who want to influence them that we shouldn't just dismiss. We should try to break through.
Yeah, it actually means that we have to be a little bit more cautious in our communication with them directly. But on this show, we don't give a fuck. This isn't for them. This is for us.
Yeah,
right, exactly. I mean, we're preaching to the choir right now.
Well, the thing is, we decided long ago after we started to get some pretty good notice from he's not a preacher. He's just a shitty, like, syndicated radio talk show guy, right-wing audio kind of thing by the name of, Josh Bernstein or Bernstein. I'm not sure which way he pronounces, but he started like cyber stalking us, like especially Felicia.
Bernstein?
Like, yeah, Bernstein.
Jewish? It sounds. I mean, that's a Jewish name.
Not if his mother's not.
Well, I know. I
don't know with this guy, but he's been featured on Right Wing Watch numerous times, and so we made a couple of videos about him. Like, haha, look at this fucking knucklehead, and we start talking about stuff about attacking his points, never attacking the person, always attacking their arguments and shit. And like, he obviously Googles himself.
He's probably got an alert.
Probably so. So
I'll admit I have a Google alert on myself.
So I'm just proud of my response to this. After a couple of these, and he kept calling me a whore and disgusting and stuff.
Oh, fuck! Great. Nice, very, very classy.
And he started following our Facebook group. Or like following the Facebook page, and like he started commenting on things like shitty comments and stuff, and I was like, well, okay, let's see how I do cybersecurity for a living, so like let me go see how locked down this guy's stuff is. And his Josh Bernstein like Facebook page that he's posting from is his own fucking personal thing that he does all of these attack stuff on. Like, including pictures of him with his wife and his kid and, like, talking about stuff. And I'm like, dude.
How irresponsible do you have to be?
But he's probably proud of it.
It bugs the shit out of me because it's like, I separate X on the show here from Chris Reed in real life. I mean, I'm the same guy, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not like, and I just realized I fucking said my whole name. Huh. Hey, how about that? Well, that's right. That's all right.
Just doxed yourself.
It's my real name, so.
People have always known I'm Chris. I don't know if they knew the last name part, but I don't care. What are they going to do when they go to find my Facebook page? Everything's friends only. Fuck.
Right.
So what I did in response was strap on a pair of my pole shorts, which are just itty bitty little hot pants.
Gorgeous is what they are.
And my heels, the 6 inchers with the big platform. And every time I needed to remind myself to be happy, I'd clack my heels.
And so
Call me a whore.
we decided
I like
right
it.
around that point where we're like, you know what? We could be one of those shows where we actually talk to these people and try to have a discussion with them and stuff. But we're like, no, we're not going to do that because these people don't
this
deserve
is an outlet. Yeah.
They don't need our platform to spread their shit. And so I get upset when I see some people out in atheist world like having the shitty people on there. I'm like, maybe that's the way they want to do their show. Maybe that's the way it is.
I don't know. Thomas Smith, friend of the show and of Serious Inquiries Only, he had that Lonnie guy who's running. I actually really appreciate that conversation.
I think that was more of a joke. I think that was more of a joke kind of interview thing because he didn't really have any kind of real tenuous,
No, but
grasp on reality.
About it.
But
I talked to Thomas. That was really Lonnie. I've met guys like that.
It told us what a big segment of the population thinks.
Yeah.
And
I
also
thought that was worthwhile.
However,
he's a liberal. He just doesn't know it.
There
He's a liberal.
a lot, believe me, a lot of the whole working class
is liberal.
They're liberal.
They just don't
get it. They just don't understand that the policies and the things that they want are liberal.
We had this guy over. He was hanging out.
Except for abortion. This is
much more, by the way, this is much more interesting than the fucked up video I was going to play for us. So I'm happy we're having this discussion. I'm glad I'm not talking about that. Anyway.
So we had this guy over. He's from Tennessee. He has the most amazing Southern accent. He is charming and wonderful. He's a delightful human being. And I mean, yeah, he's subject to the culture and stuff like that. But he was talking about how his dad started the first female soccer league in their state, professional soccer league in their state. And he's like, and a lot of those women are lesbians and my family doesn't care. And he's like, but then on another side, he'd be like, he would ask me if I voted Republican, and he was trying to tease me because he knew I wasn't. But he's like, yeah, I'm conservative. And I'm like, no, you're fucking not, dude.
Right.
I'm hanging out with you right the fuck now, and you're not.
if you're, I mean, the way that conservatives have gotten now, it used to be, I think, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, certainly, that you could credibly be a fiscal conservative and a social liberal. You can't credibly be that anymore. Because you can't be socially liberal.
The fiscal conservative has gotten so off the rails and absolutely
it's been proven to be bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at this tax bill. They're going to tack on another $1 trillion to the debt. I don't give a fuck about the debt. Tack on $1 trillion.
The deficit, which will be way worse on the debt.
No, it's $1 trillion added to the debt over 10 years.
Oh, I thought it was $1 trillion.
No, it's about $100 billion per year.
Okay, so I mean, we're still tracking on the same page. I just thought it was the deficit.
Right, but regardless, I don't give a fuck. Add $1 trillion to the debt. Interest rates are still low, but do it to help support education. Do it for infrastructure. Do it for social services. Do it for social safety net. Don't do it to fucking just give rich people money to sit on that they're not going to do shit.
They're never going to spend it.
They openly said this was for their donors.
Absolutely, and their donors have openly said we're not going to give it to the fucking workers.
Yeah.
They've openly said, no, we're doing stock buybacks, which, in their defense, is absolutely what they should do with it.
Yep.
It's just stupid to give it to them.
If
you're going to give it to them, that's what they should do with it. They should do stock buybacks.
And the extra money that they're going to be just sitting on top of the hordes of gold like Smaug the Dragon, they're going to pass it on to their children tax-free.
Right. That is the biggest fucking scam. That is the biggest scam. And not only that, that is the biggest hypocrisy.
And they call it debt tax too.
They like to preach self-reliance and bring you up by your bootstraps. And they're the ones that want generational wealth passed on from your fucking great grandparent that you never knew. What entitles you to wealth that was created in the 1700s on the back of
exploitation
slaves
of other people,
taking land?
I see houses here in the valley where I look at where they're built and how expensive they must be, and my wife was like, "How come we can't have a house up there?" And I'm like, "Well, because we didn't have ancestors that exploited people." And she's like, "What? Wait, what?" Like I went full socialist on her there for a second. And she didn't expect that. And I'm like that's obviously a family that moved here and took money.
And let us be clear, they exploited the Mormons here in this state exploited the labor of women. They displaced natives. They abused and displaced natives, and then they exploited the labor of women. You know why it's called the Beehive State? Because of the women. The women were the backbone of everything. Yeah. So the women were it was considered like everyone was a busy worker bee, but the women were expected to contribute just as much in the beginning of the state, if not more, and also birth children. It was the women workers.
Months. By clock, clockwork. Every 10 months. It was
the backbone of women who actually built the state. And in the early Mormon church, women did work. Women did.
I would say that that's probably true throughout history and everything.
But they exploited the labor of women. They exploited the labor of women because they paid their husbands and stuff. And husband, because it was polygamy at the time. They exploited the bodies and labor of women and then told them that they were magical queens for doing so. And that is why we have the state of Utah. Oh, also, whores built the West. Except for they weren't necessarily exploited to do so. They kind of, that was just some good entrepreneurship.
Actually, a lot of them were brilliantly smart business people.
Absolutely.
I mean, absolutely.
Yes, they were.
Brilliant.
And unlike
some of the madams. Oh my God, they did some incredible things.
And unlike the rich white fuckers running this country, they did reinvest that into society.
And they reinvested into their town.
And that's why women have the vote.
And that's something that's so disappointing is this refusal to understand that whatever it is that you have, even if it was just within your generation, you do have it because of the infrastructure that's built here on the backs of everybody else. I work with rich people. I work with a lot of rich people because they buy expensive houses. And, some of them may have inherited money. Some of them haven't. But, I will say that for the mainly because I really prefer not to work with assholes, so I tend not to.
That's got to be hard with the rich people.
You know what?
New money is great. I don't care. New money.
I'm having a joke at people.
New money is the best.
Well, I'll tell you, I had actually just closed on a deal this week, which was like the biggest fucking deal of my career, which is awesome. Obviously, a very, very rich person buying a very ridiculously big house. But
what are we talking here? Like 8,000, 10,000 square feet, something akin to that?
22.
Holy
Jesus.
shit. That's a fucking warehouse, man.
Okay, no, I got to tell you the greatest thing about this house. It was built by a couple, and the husband, I think, was in oil or something like that is where he made his money. But the wife was a children's author.
Oh, okay.
So they built into the house a wardrobe to Narnia. There is a wardrobe in the house that leads to a secret room.
That'd be so awesome as a kid.
It's fucking amazing.
I love it.
It's
so
fucking
much.
awesome.
I want that house. I don't even have kids. I don't even know if I want kids, but I have people who I know who have kids, like my dear friend X here, and
it's really cool. But I mean, my point being, this was a $4 million plus house, but my clients that were buying it are awesome people. And he is new.
Nice rich people. I worked for one. He was a delightful human being, and his wife is too, and their son is also great.
You can be rich and be a good person, but you can also be rich and be a fucking shithead.
Just like poor people, then. So
just like poor people. Poor people can be shitheads, or they can be good people.
But let's not exploit them. Let's not exploit them.
Right. Nobody should be exploited, even if they're a shithead.
Oh, I'd exploit the rich as much as I possibly could. They can bear it.
Well, I mean, you can't exploit them.
No,
That's the thing. You can't. You don't have the power to exploit them.
no, exactly.
Can we say
They have the
exploit one
power.
more time? It's starting to sound like not a word.
Oh, no, that's going to be the David Smalley reasoning right there. Is like, oh, you use a word so often, it stops having meaning. Fuck you.
That is not what I said. That
I
is
know,
not what I said.
That's what it felt like, though. So anyway, that's been really interesting talking about, the stuff we're talking about here. However, we're reaching that point where we do need to say goodbye to the patron show because we have a whole fucking episode to record still. So I say let's get to that. Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for being patrons. We'll gladly talk about more of this stuff in the future because I like not having to have the scripted, stuff to talk about and not having to do videos, not having to do like news items and shit like that. It's always fun to just, sit here and hash it out with people. And
Yeah, sometimes having a real conversation about stuff matters.
well, and that's what got
Wow.
us into podcasting to begin with. So
Real conversations with actual people. Ooh.
you'd be surprised how little of those I have.
I'm very good at them, in fact. That's my entire job.
Yeah, me too. That's pretty much what I do. And actually, I mean, for me, actually, it's draining often. But when I get to talk about subjects that I really like, it's just fun. And when I get to apple scotch.
I meant to go to the store today. Damn it. And now they're going to be open tomorrow. I'm on my last beer. Fuck me.
Wait, are the liquor stores not open on Sundays?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Oh, okay. Well, it's only been in the last 15 years that they have been open on Sundays here. But I guess they
I
would
would
be
have been
closed
within
then.
my drinking age, so.
I don't want to hear it. You guys have legalized weed there too. It's just
Fuck yes, we do.
I don't like weed. Oh, fine.
no, it's just amazing that we're going to be surrounded by it here pretty soon. And, we're just going to be this vast empty spot where it's not legal. It's like,
Because it's easier to control somebody on opioids than it is marijuana. I keep going over this.
yeah. Anyway, we're done with the Patron show. We'll catch you guys next week with another episode where we'll talk about more of that. I'm sure we could talk about that. We could talk about how the fact that Utah likes people on their pain pills. And so
I have a theory about why they don't allow neighborhood pubs either, and it's money. The answer is money and power,
except,
and money and power.
Except for the next episode, we're going to have Chrisiosity from YouTube joining us. And so she's a fun feminist lady. And I love
Not
talking
next
with her,
episode, episode after next.
so. No, she's
'Cause-
here next weekend.
Yeah, but we do 2 episodes
Right,
a
but
week.
it's 2 episodes.
No. But I'm talking about, on the next patron show is what we're doing here.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. What you're saying.
Yep.
You were both right.
Yeah,
In a-
we were
in a
talking,
way.
talking on different levels.
It is Schrodinger's right and wrong there. As long as you don't observe it, we're both right. That's fine with me. I'm good with that. Anyway, catch you next week.
Galaxy.